ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on. We thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. This week on What the Hell? I've been wanting to do the news escapade with What the Hell. I mean, even though we get on it like we do the episode like once a month or so, but
less frequently.
Yeah, we got some big news. We wanted to wait until I think Johnny's wife's getting pony in on this the whole banking stuff, but we have a lot of other stuff we can talk about. So Trump's getting arrested.
We live in eventful times. Is that how the saying goes? To paraphrase.
Oh, we got Trump's getting arrested. Iranian drone bombs Syria, kills 7 U.S. I think it was like 4 soldiers and a civilian. And that was at I think it was like at I don't know. I think it was a base.
Yeah, I think it was one of those air bases or something, small.
It was something small. I glanced over it. I should have not just glanced over it. My morning, I get like pop-ups of a lot of stuff. But
Iran is about to enter the find out portion of the FAFO equation.
I thought we already did that. Yeah, I think we did. We already did that.
Oh no, we've had kid gloves with them. Come on, man. You know that we've been extremely nice. And
we was like, hey, we're just gonna kill one of your generals. Maybe it's going on accident. And
so that was a warning. Like, yeah, we killed the dude. Okay, and that was great, and he needed it, but that was just a friendly warning. Like, keep that was the little swat on the toddler butt where it was like, they're still wearing the diaper, they don't even really feel it, but that was the warning. Like, listen, this could go a lot worse. That was keep fucking around, and they're still fucking around. So,
okay, this is what's really strange on this whole thing. Okay, this is the article, but this is coming from BBC. So, U.S. bombs Syria targets after deadly drone attack. U.S. has carried out airstrikes against Iranian-linked groups in eastern Syria after a drone attack killed a U.S. contractor, and the defense chief said 14 pro-Iranian fighters were killed, according to a moderator group. The U.S. officials said the airstrikes happened on Thursday night after hours after the drone attack, which U.S. intelligence said was of Iranian origin. U.S. bases in northeast Syria have come under attack before. Yeah.
Here's the problem with that.
Okay.
It was 14 Iranian-backed fighters. If you're serious and you really want to make your statement, it's 14 Iranians inside their border. That's making a statement.
Yeah.
14 Iranian-backed, they don't give a damn about anybody not Iranian.
You
don't care if you kill anybody that's not Iranian. Okay, there's plenty more where they came from. That's just money.
You act like another. You're seriously saying that, like another country that tried to pull this stuff in Syria with like 500 people and a bunch of vehicles and everything, that wasn't. Are you okay?
Oh man, I seriously,
Is it a cold?
Whew, that was weird. That's strange.
Is it a cold, or do you? I mean, allergy season because of the weather and everything, man. I mean,
Pollen.
it's been hitting me.
Yeah,
It's been hitting me pretty hard too.
Russian pollen hit me. I mean, just regular pollen.
Oh, okay. Russian pollen. Yeah, I don't know how they get over it. That if they use balloons or something like that.
China uses their balloons, and then we just kind of watch them drift lazily across the country before we decide. Oh, you're done? Oh, okay, now we'll shoot at you down. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, how many did we lose on that attack that Russian didn't do? Zero.
Yeah.
Still win. But yeah, let's
entire company.
Yeah.
With one plane. Allegedly, we would have. It would have been one plane if we had been involved in that.
Yeah, it would have been funny. It's like, who did they? Russia attacked with 500 people. They attacked this base. Who was on that base? Chuck motherfucking Norris. I believe that. I fucking believe that. They didn't have
Chuck Norris and John Wick were having lunch at that base.
Hell, even the Russians would believe that.
That's all right. Be like, you know what? That tracks. That makes sense. Actually,
yeah. It would be hilarious because the Russians, they would believe that propaganda. I mean, Americans would be like, "Oh, that's funny," but it's probably not going to be true.
Got the joke.
Like, what the fuck were you thinking? Did you not get the reports that Chuck Norris was at that base?
It's like, you guys saw the documentaries, right?
He's already fucked us up already in every fucking movie.
They just released the fourth documentary about John Wick. Have you not seen this?
Oh God.
What do we even pay you people for?
Oh God. Oh man. Let's get rid of this article. Or finish this article. Get rid of it. 14 bar. U.S. officials said that the airstrikes happened on Thursday night. Okay, after of Iranian origins, U.S. base of the northeast Syria have come under attack before, with the U.S. Responding with airstrikes. Last August, the U.S. bombed sites in eastern Syria, which, as said, were linked to Iran Islamic Revolutionary Group Corps, IRGC, with most powerful armed forces after rocket attacks. If they work for the BBC, they need to redo their English. After rocket attacks on U.S. troops there. Thursday night, airstrikes were carried out on President Biden's orders in the response to the drone attack, as well as a series of recent attacks against coalition forces in Syria by groups affiliated with IRGC. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said facilities used by groups affiliated with IRGC. The conflict continues to escalate on Friday morning when rockets targeted another U.S. base, Green Village, in northeastern Syria. U.S. officials say they said the rocket fire did not result in any injuries. Speaking to CNN on Friday, U.S. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said the government will work with to protect our people and our facilities as best we can. It's a dangerous firing. No shit. Didn't and on another note, because we're waiting on Johnny, let's get a freaking realization how bad Syria is right now. Syria is after World War One economy. After Germany after World War One's economy, they're taking buckets of cash to buy bread.
Dude,
Cash
it's
to buy.
Somalia. Yeah, it's Somalia circa 1903, basically.
Yeah. So their environment right now is horrible.
Oh yeah, it's complete and total open civil war. Like it's Lebanon in the late 80s.
Fuck, it's Haiti right now. Fuck.
Oh yeah, that's
Dude, I told you about that. I did like a 3-month stint there. Dude, I regret that. Everybody was like Patrick, kill Patrick. We're talking about it when we did that charity event. And he was like, he like winked at me like, oh, you did like, because he knew I was part of the military. I was like, dude, I was a cook. The only reason why I did that security stuff was because I was actually correctional officers after I grew up to be a man child and learn stuff. I wasn't special forces. I've never anybody that tell you it's like, do you think you'd be special forces? No, I'm lazy. But you did security work. I thought it was gonna be easy. I'm not gonna lie. And it kind of was.
Officer to the guy, the mall cop. Like, come on, man.
Yes, I was basically the mall cop. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna put pen up like I was a Billy Ray badass ever. But all we did was stay at the hotel. That's basically all we did. And anytime we needed to go do stuff, we had everything. We try to have everything delivered. Even then, we had to be like on guard when we were getting the delivery because all the gangs and everything control almost everything. Even parts of the government, they control everything.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And it was like volunteering, getting paid a very high cost to go to a hotel and be a prisoner for 3 months. That's how it was.
It's a rough life, man.
I mean, with the heat and the fucking I will not go back to. Everybody's like, let's go to the Bahamas.
The Air Force would bitch about being in a fucking hotel. Only the Air Force, because if it would have been anybody else, any other fucking branch, we would have been in a fucking tent on the pier.
I mean, you're not lying.
And we wouldn't be bitching. We'd be bitching. We would be dying to be in that hotel. We would be bitching 100%, but we would be justified. You're in a hotel. I want to reiterate this again. You are in a building with private room, with your own bathroom and shower. Doors that close, probably a TV of some sort. It was good channels, but you get something. You know what we get on the pier there in our tent? Malaria and heat stroke.
I mean,
God, I want to choke you right now. I just want to choke the life right out of you.
You probably get a chance. Anyways,
you are everything we hate about the Air Force. Just the embodiment of the entitlement.
You know what's wrong is
in a hotel room for 3 months. You don't understand.
If you were there, you would understand. I mean,
I was there. We would have never seen each other because I would have been down at the fucking on the pier on the concrete in a fucking cot. That
would be at the pier. You'd be in the jungle somewhere.
Well, this is true. Also, I wouldn't have been there because I was mechanized. So I'm not walking anywhere. Are you kidding me? Those 113s don't go in the jungle.
Yeah, that's true.
They do. They just don't do well.
No. But anyways, off that subject, yeah, Syria is a horrible fucking place.
Agreed.
And our next thing to talk about, Trump getting supposedly getting arrested. I say supposedly.
We're banking on this for so long.
Dude, people
they were so invested.
Where's that little girl that cried when he got elected?
Oh yes. Really.
You know what? You know what?
Watching all of the MSNBC and CNN coverage leading up to it, probably touching herself inappropriately.
Yeah, probably.
And now after it didn't happen, she's probably right back down the sidewalk screaming again.
Yeah. What a lot of people don't. Okay, there's a lot of factors. No, I'm not saying that the charges are not real, which they're kind of are, but they're not like serious. It's fining. You're supposed to get fined for this stuff because every politician does this bullshit.
Right.
They should, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, they should interact with harsher laws because let me go over what he did. He ended up, from what I'm getting on the news outlets, and this is all the news outlets, is he ended up using funds inappropriately from his 2016 election campaign. And he used those funds to filter through some other stuff to pay off somebody.
Right.
But you're not supposed to use those funds other than anything to it has to go to the campaign. No matter what, those funds have to go to the campaign.
Correct. Or if they're not used, they have to be refunded back to the donor.
Yes. Now, in my opinion, he should have he should be arrested for that, but they don't have the laws in place to do that. It's a fine.
Correct.
And this is coming from a person that, wouldn't mind seeing Trump in office and again see, good gas prices to where it's almost $1.
Correct. The problem is there it's like you said, almost every and this is not an excuse for him. This is almost every single politician has done something like this. You see it on both sides of the aisle.
Did it during her time frame.
It's happened over and over and over and over again. The problem is the response to him doing it was so out of proportion.
Oh yeah.
Every other politician, it gets swept under the rug, but now it's like, see, he did something wrong. Like, listen, make it pay, do the fine, great.
Yeah, it's not even
screwed up. And again, he screwed up. He should be held accountable. I'm not against that by any means. Go after everybody else that did it just as hard.
Oh yeah. What gets me on? I mean, it's like the whole document stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, they ended up finding stuff from Biden. They didn't.
And it's. And I hate to sound this because this is going to sound like whataboutism again, but the circumstances were a little bit different with Trump because as president, you can declassify documents, which is what he did.
And it's not, and
Biden did all this as vice president, and all the documents that he took out of there were not his to take because he was not president when he got them.
No, there's a reasoning why. Okay.
There is a little bit of difference. However,
no.
Wrong.
Here's the funny thing about that, though. I don't think it's either one of their faults.
Oh, it was
really. Huh?
I agreed. It was probably their staffers, but the buck stops with them.
Yeah. Way that. And I found this out recently, just deep diving like I usually do into the world of the internet to gain knowledge and ultimate power. But it's the quick move. That's and it sounds ridiculous and stupid simple. It's the quick move. You grab shit that you don't like. Is someone probably is like, hey, Chris, are we taking this? Yes. Put it in a fucking trash bag, hand it to you, put it in a fucking truck, move the fucking truck to the place of the location, and you find out you have the fucking Holy Grail.
Right. And I understand that.
It's like, oops, shouldn't have fucking took that. How are we gonna get this back in there?
You do have a point. However, in order for the, what was it, 17 boxes or whatever of fucking documents that they found, in order for all of that to be in a position to be swept up in that quick move, like you said, they had to be removed from somewhere where they were supposed to be kept.
Oh,
And they should
great.
have stayed there. They should have never left where they were taken from. So
No,
the fact
I
that it got
totally
swept
agree.
up in that is where the issue lies.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. But it really is the whole fact of they need to have some kind of system. I know the government doesn't like systems that
They
are
have a
put in
system in
place.
place. Just ignore it.
No, that you're absolutely right. They probably have a system, but nobody fucking uses it.
Exactly. And that's this,
how
you
it-
got all the bureaucrats and the staffers that are in there. And it's like, you know, you kind of run the, you know, the good old boy system. It's like, well, you know, we've always done it that way. So just go ahead. Well, this is highly illegal. Nah, you're fine. Nobody will know.
Yeah,
100%. That's what it was.
yeah, guaranteed.
And you're supposed to have
How
document
many
control.
times have you done this in your life?
So you should be able to follow the paper trail back to find out who it was, hold them just as accountable. But like I said, the buck stops at the top.
Yeah, if it was one of us, we would
In handcuffs right now. Are you kidding me?
we would be fucking eating dick sandwiches for the rest of our lives. That's what it would have happened to us. If,
I mean, that's just a Wednesday for you.
no, I just switched it to Thursday. I have to.
Thursday, you change things up a little bit.
Yeah, I have to
Change-
change stuff up because work schedule and everything now. But it's just ridiculous.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's the
But
entire
but the
thing
news
is that there's no accountability for anybody at any level of government. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on.
If you're in like higher spokes of the government, like the White House, Congress, they take care. They unless you do something like stupid, like
Talking about okay,
someone's luggage.
right. But what happened to that dude afterwards?
He's getting charges. He's getting minor charges.
He's gonna some think tank out there is going to pay for his lawyer, is
Yeah.
going to get him. He's going to have the best lawyer that money can buy. They're going to get him. If he does serve anything, it's going to be very, very low. And as soon as he's out, he gets a fucking speaking gig. He's going to be taken care of on this think tank. He's going to be given, a high level executive. That dude is set for life. Yes, I said dude. This happens all the time. You see this all the freaking time. It has to be a massive, egregious error. It has to be Monica Lewinsky level of fucking up and making the person, your patron, look bad. It has to be to that level before something really bad happens. Otherwise, you do the grand shuffle. It's the DC shuffle.
Yeah.
And it's, well, he's fired from this department and he's just moved over to this department, or he's moved to this think tank, or he's sent over here. They all scratch each other's backs. Once you're in the network, you are never out of it. You are forever taken care of at any level.
Which is really sad and everything. But
so that's why I say there is no accountability. It may happen on paper and they may say, this person is strongly reprimanded in this, file, or it's going in his permanent file, and he's fired. He's fired tomorrow, and he's never coming back to work here. But he moves 2 cubicles down, and he's in a different department and doing the same thing.
I mean, he had the fucking nuclear codes. That's what gets me. He had the goddamn fucking codes.
How many codes did Clinton lose during his presidency?
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, your defense is very strong. I'm like, yeah, it's yeah. I'm surprised we're still alive. Man, it really, it really, it
Really
really,
is amazing when you get down to it.
when you get down to it, you like, it's like everybody
Especially when
has
you realize
this.
that there's 6 nuclear weapons that are still missing that we lost and never recovered. That's the US alone. Now imagine when the Soviet Union broke up and every one of those freaking republics and the stand republics had nuclear weapons stored there because they were the most empty and they were ripe for for silos. Just gone, lost to the sands of time.
That would be fucking hilarious. Is like, how did that little place that doesn't really manufacture anything got like a couple of $1 trillion now? How is that? They had nukes there.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh
That's
yeah.
kind of the dirty little secret that people don't like to talk about after the fall of the Soviet Union, which was a great thing. It was good.
Oh no, there's one person that knows about it, and we sent them back to freaking Russia.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit that went down and after the fall there, and all these generals and
Did they make a movie about it? About this guy called the Merchant of Death? I think he knew.
Yeah. Again, speaking of dirty little secrets.
Yeah. But what was it? And now, and talking about how government likes to screw people. VA, if you, and this is, it hasn't gone through yet, so we're still weighing on it.
Luckily, they're still discussing it, but it's the fact that it's even being brought up in conversation at all is
let me bring it up here. Let me airdrop it to the big screen. Airdrop it? No, I didn't airdrop. Why didn't you airdrop it? There we go. Anyways, the government had decided, and me and Chris discussed this before we got on the air, that are we angry about it? Yes. Are we understandable and we're understanding where they're coming from? Yes. But
I wouldn't go that far with it. I understand the sentiment behind it.
Okay, yeah.
But it's fucked up that they're even talking about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, why?
And I don't agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta learn words sometimes. But VA Secretary swats down to cut VA disability pay for wealthier vets. Veterans social media feeds erupted this week over the months-old report from Congress budget. This is a month-old report. And we're just now hearing it. This is from military.com.
Bro, a month is lightning fast in bureaucracy. You know that.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. But anyways, illicit options for reducing the federal deficit, including the idea that the government could save $253 billion over the next 10 years by eliminating disabled compensation for vets who make more than $170,000. I mean, they could end up getting injured. One of their injuries could happen that happened in the military, and they would have to use their whole entire
what if they were unable to work anymore because of an injury or something that made it worse?
The injury festers and everything like that, and it gets a lot worse. Each year, the COB publishes proposals for to reduce the federal deficit, which reduces nearly $723 billion since the beginning of the financial 2023. The latest list published in December, but only garnered attention among veterans this week, called for means testing for veterans with higher income levels. But Veteran Affairs Secretary Dennis McDonald shot down the idea on Thursday, saying the VA does not think this is a good idea. No shit. get a lot of people that you basically train to kill and say you're not going to pay them. I mean, it's not like we did that kind of thing like in World War One or something like that.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, just saying.
Yeah, this exact situation did happen in World War One.
Yeah, getting off topic. They had what was it? I sent this video just recently. They had like I'll say it, there were bonds, but there were IOUs. We'll just call them IOUs to make it look like they're little shit. And they had thousands, hundreds of thousand people going to the Capitol. And this is during the time frame of 1934.
They shut down the Capitol.
Yeah, they shut down the Capitol because they hadn't been getting paid. And this is the time for, and these are these were desperate men at the time, because this is the time frame of the Great Depression. And they were desperate men. They wanted the government that actually they fought. They told they would fight for this government, and they wanted their money so they could support the lives that they grew from that time frame. And
they just flat, like, that was the government just flat refusing to pay out on these bonds.
Yeah. We think it's a bad idea, and we're not going to do it. We have my compliment that commitment that we won't do it. McDonald said during the press conference with the reporters in Washington, D.C.
From a politician means nothing.
Yes. I've been laid off like too many times, and they have meetings. It's like, we're not getting rid of everybody. Guess what? They got rid of almost everybody.
Not everybody.
We're not moving our stuff to Mexico.
I'm not going anywhere.
Why does these blacks here say we're going? They're going to Mexico. Well,
we are going to Mexico. You're staying.
Yeah. But am I going to have a job? No. Anyways.
You're funny.
The COB proposes a list of options for reducing the deficit, but they are not considered to be recommendations. They are according to the report, options to deliver from many sources that reflect a range of possibilities. This year's list, first published on December 7th, addressed VA disability compensations, which CBO analyzed, said has increased substantially faster than inflation in total spreading and per veteran. According to the CBO, the VA paid 4 times the amount in disabled compensation in 2021, about $110 billion. Then it paid in 2000. No shit. Really?
You think maybe there's a reason for
it? Are
it?
you fucking kidding me?
Yep.
Are you fucking kidding me? It's not like in 2001. 2000, we weren't doing shit. Okay? I mean,
are you saying that there was an event in 2001 that could have possibly changed the structure?
Might have fucking been.
I think
let me get through this so I can bitch. Then it paid in 2000, adjusting for inflation, even as the numbers of vets in the U.S. dropped to the rate has dropped by more than 30%. Under the option, the VA would access the household income of all veterans now receiving disability compensation, as well as those who file disability claims in the future. Only veterans whose gross household income the year before was less than an established threshold would receive their full disability benefits. I can't believe these idiots use that as a goddamn fucking reference. That's the most stupidest thing I have ever heard. I was like, back in 2000, it just doubled now in 2021.
Mysteriously, just out of nowhere.
We spent like $4 trillion on a goddamn fucking war.
Two wars.
2 wars. Yeah, 2 wars. Fuck. We spent $4 trillion in 2 wars, and now and Angry Crabs, and this is how I get my information. This is sad. I get my information from him. Not sad. For I love that guy. He's a great guy.
Listen, he breaks it down better than anybody I know.
Yes, and we're just saying our concern is veterans,
Correct.
and if oh god, there's gonna be people storming the fucking Capitol again, and
Good. We need to keep it up. We need to keep storming the Capitol.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying it here. We need to keep doing it, but peacefully, like we did on January 6th.
no, I want like the riots after that whole
Like in France right now.
no oh, yeah, Francis. Francis. God, this whole
France is out revolutioning us.
yeah.
You know how sad that makes me to have to say that. France is doing more than we are right now.
That is
France.
and it's pretty much almost the same thing with the VA stuff because their stuff is
Well, there's with pension.
yeah, it's a pension and it's government pension.
Yeah.
And which is it's still sad. It's like the government doesn't give a shit, or we end up I know voting, and this is nothing against our constitution or anything like that, but I think we need to have a little bit of a fail-safe on. I mean, Fetterman's still in office, even though he's in a goddamn
Allegedly.
fucking
I
bed.
haven't seen him anywhere, but he's
No,
supposedly
he's in a hospital bed after a second heart attack, and his wife is in Niagara Falls. And people,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh because I do feel horrible for the guy being in the hospital. But come on.
I mean, even in Texas,
Who
we
could have
have,
seen this coming?
no one did. No one.
Everybody did.
No one.
Nobody knew. Everybody knew he was going to end up fucking not being able to do his damn job.
Yeah. I mean, we still
Everybody
have the
saw
same-
this
we
coming.
have the same thing here in Texas. But it's just not him. We've actually voted in just recently in our election a couple of council members that are dead.
Yep. Which I'm actually for because at least they can't do any damage.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're very not wrong on this.
I
Very,
prefer
Very not wrong.
I prefer my politicians to be dead.
Yeah. Now saying that, or non-functioning. I prefer non-functioning.
Correct.
Ron Swanson motive.
I prescribe to the Ron Swanson school of thought on government.
Yeah. No government interference. I do what I want.
Mhm.
I have a permit.
I have a permit.
I'm gonna write up a permit. I can do what I want and put it right there.
I'm just gonna make a bunch of business cards and just as soon as somebody starts saying something, I'll just pull out a card and just hand it.
I mean, they are cheap. They're not expensive.
Dude, you can get business cards printed out for next to nothing.
Yeah, like $15.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. And get like 300 of them.
Yeah.
That's good. I should do that.
I'm gonna deep dive on this, and we're gonna swerve that train just like in Ohio.
And it's gonna derail just like in Ohio.
And this stuff is like almost chemical warfare stuff.
Just like in Ohio. I see a theme.
But I've actually seen like the fancy business cards, how they're made and everything. They still use like stuff that is like 1890.
Mhm.
And it's fantastic. It's
Talking about like those from what was that movie, American Psycho with Christian Bale?
no, I'm talking fancier.
Oh wow.
They're the business cards are about that big. They're almost coaster size.
Oh nice.
But they're just they're so beautiful and eloquent, and they're made like very, very slow. So you're getting like uh they go off on like the card stock that they use. I mean, like American Psycho, the card stock, the emblems and everything.
Right. Hand embossed.
Yeah. I mean, they're so beautiful. They're artwork in themselves. It's basically you're handing somebody your number on artwork. And they're expensive as hell.
Yeah. You know where 90% of the business cards of the world end up, right?
In the trash.
Exactly. That's why I will never pay more than just dirt cheap prices because nobody reads them anyways.
Yeah. I still got no, I got Patrick's number and he gave me his number. I need to call him and get him on the show. But I got his number and his is like super, super fancy. And then I had him mine. I was like, yeah, just call me whenever you want to talk or whatever. And I'm like, I'm looking at his and then looking at mine. I was like, and then I was doing that whole American Psycho thing. It's like, oh, he's way better than me. And then I just realized it's like half these things get trashed anyways. Fuck that. No, I'm not gonna spend that much.
That's why I like mine for the fund actually looks really cool because it's black with yellow lettering on the back. It's got the black and yellow American flag. It's actually pretty cool, but they're still dirt cheap.
Yeah,
because I know I'm not a fool.
Man, nowadays it's like I got
you have an app that will manage all of your contacts and your business cards and all that. You just scan them in. And Carrie was telling me about that. She's like, yeah, you just as soon as somebody hands you the card, you scan it in, so you get all the info on it. And what do you need the card for?
Yeah. I mean, I still got Worship. Yeah, Worship's card and O'Hare's card, Lucas O'Hare's Grizzly Ford.
Yeah,
his card's pretty cool. I mean, if they're nice, I'm gonna keep them around just because they look cool.
Well, yeah,
but I seriously don't think.
Trying to name drop. That's what.
I seriously think like Lucas O'Hare's number is not on there anymore.
It probably isn't. It's not like he's hard to find though.
Yeah,
that man stands out in a crowd. He makes me feel small.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I still
only imagine how it feels for you.
Dude, it was so fucking hilarious. And that chick that he was with, oh my god, I felt like she was just egging someone to kill me.
Probably. You know what it's like for like the rest of us.
Yeah. Because okay, funny story. Second time that me and Chris met, I went down to San Antonio to go to the Total All Tree Challenge. Well, they actually also had a Drinking Bros podcast, so I went there too. I was like, "Oh, cool! We'll go there, have some fun. It's down in Austin, no big deal." Well, Lucas O'Hare of Grizzly Forge, who makes knives, and he was showing. He's like, "Hey, dude," and he was just a wonderful guy, big teddy bear.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Yeah, love your knives." I try to keep up all your stuff. I'm sorry if I don't keep like totally up your stuff. I got to keep up with my stuff. He's like, okay, cool. And he showed me this bone knife. He took a femur off of a vet's severed limb and made a knife on it. It's called the bone knife. And I don't know if he does this anymore.
I don't think so. I think that was
like one off.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was showing me this knife. Well, I was wearing one of my Black Rifle Coffee t-shirts, and the lady I guess he was with, because she did. I look back in my mind, I don't see this. I'm just saying that the lady that was there was very like clingy, and I don't know why she was clingy.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I don't want to.
Yeah, because I'm like, wait a minute, that wasn't his wife. I'm not saying anything. This didn't happen any fucking more. But I keep on telling this goddamn fucking story on this podcast. If Lucas O'Hare ever watches this podcast and and I inadvertently make a divorce happen,
this was not
this
me.
happened down by the road a long time
Remember,
ago.
Lucas, you and me are buds. Like I've had your back, dude.
Yeah, I was like, sorry. Yeah, I could see you standing over me going, sorry about this, bro.
Dude.
Got here first.
I'm
I understand, man.
cool. I'm the cool one, remember?
I'm the guy that talks to you.
Sorry.
I helped you move.
Maddie and me, remember? It's good memories.
No, if it was me, I would have been like, I had a good life.
Fuck it. I had a good
Make sure you drink from my skull every once in a while. That's all I gotta say. But anyways, so he showed me this bone knife. It was gorgeous knife. It was a beautiful knife. And it had a leather loop of a pinky toe, the guy's pinky toe too. Beautiful knife. I was going, oh, cool. I didn't say, oh, cool. I was like flabbergasted. I was like looking at the grainage of because he put it in acid and made it look have a Damascus steel look on it. And I was looking at the grains and I was asking questions like what kind of steel did you use? Is it 440 or did you use like some other kind of steel from somewhere else, like bearings, railroad ties, they do all kinds of stuff. And we had a conversation about knives. I'm a knife guy. I like knives. Anyways, so this chick comes up. I don't know exactly if she was with him or not. I'm not like 100% anymore type of thing. But at the time, my realm of thinking was she's with him. She was gorgeous. So she's with him. I've looked in the mirror on this one. I've seen my face in the mirror. A lot of people are like, oh, he's good looking. How does he not have a girlfriend? I was like, no, I've talked to myself in my head. And the other voices all agree.
Yeah.
Anyways, she came by. She was talking. It's like, hey, I love your shirt. I was like, thank you. Thank you very much. And we started like conversating. Lucas had a business deal that he had to deal with. He's like, hey, I gotta go. I was like, hey, no problem, man. Good talking to you. I'll get you a beer when you come back if you come back. If not, no big deal. He goes, and she is fucking clinging on me. And my realm of thinking is this bitch. The boyfriend's just walking like 5 feet from him.
Like, he can still see us, right?
Yeah, it's like right over there. I mean, he's staring right at me, giving me the dagger eyes, which he probably made himself. I don't want to be in this man's catalog. I just don't. It's one of my things.
I was gonna say, you know how many knives he can make out of your skeleton?
Yes. At least give one to my dad. He likes knives too. Anyways. So, and she's like, I love your shirt. I was like, bitch, he doesn't have to be in the fucking same goddamn fucking zip code to take me out. Just for a safe thing. If he came back and got upset at me, I would literally look him in the eyes and tell him, it's like, listen, we're in a really weird spot right now. I'm going to go on in that corner and you let me know when I should stop beating the fuck out of myself. Because I think that's a safer bet.
I think it would hurt less if I do it.
Yeah, it might hurt less, but I still will be able to come back from it. And I had a friend there.
Right.
Like, back me up. And he was looking at me and was like, no, We're not doing this, Dave. I was like, I know we're not doing this. It's like, how do you do this, Dave? I don't know how I do this.
Couple finds me. What can I say? I'm special.
It really is. But you know, the whole day was fun. Talked to JT too. So you know, and Ross. We had a good conversation with Ross Patterson. And so it was a fun day. Let me
Mostly. And then, I missed all of it because I was sitting there working.
yes.
I was working the booth.
I know. That was horrible. Man, I was drinking beer, relaxing. That was another thing that pisses me off.
No. Listen, I didn't say I wasn't drinking beer. I said I was working the booth.
This is the thing about Austin and fucking hate. We went through downtown Austin trying to find one burger, meat burger. You know how hard it is.
Burgers. You'll find a shitload of burgers.
You know how hard it is to find an actual meat burger in fucking downtown Austin?
Worth eating.
Worth eating. And you got to have like two things. It's almost impossible.
Yeah. I'm just impressed you actually made it through downtown Austin.
I had my Glock. Actually, no, I had my
That's enough to get you fucking canceled in that city.
no, I had my SIG. The SIG you could notice. Glock you won't notice.
Yeah, that's enough to get you fucking jumped.
My SIG is freaking huge. And the only reason why I wear that is because I want to be noted. I want to be noticed in a bad way.
Yeah.
I want a part.
You know that I know that you know.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, fuck off. That's what that sign says. But what was the other thing that we wanted to talk about? We did the Trump. Oh, that's another thing that scared me right now. And it started scaring me as soon as they started doing it, is the AI generation stuff. I was scared like during like 90. When did The Crow come out? And they had to have that
Oh God, what was that?
93. They had that lawsuit in 93.
95, something like that.
Yeah, they had that lawsuit in 93. I started getting scared that time frame once I realized what was going on. I started getting scared of that time frame because now we have the technology that if you're not an intelligent person, you can see you can't understand that the deep fakes and the AI generated. I mean, you send me freaking TikToks all the time about Donald Trump and Biden and Obama coming.
Discord server. Yes. Yeah, and what's hilarious on that is that it's all written script. The guy will write the script out, enter it into the AI, and it comes out in their voices, and you can tell it's fake because the inflection is right. So that's where if you know what to listen for, you can usually tell it's a fake. But it's getting really good where it's almost hard to be able to. You need to have a healthy sense of skepticism, which most people have not developed, because you need to have, in order to have skepticism, you need to have cynicism, and that's being ground out of this society.
Especially when everybody's telling you have to believe this shit.
Yes.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to be cynical in this society anymore.
Yeah, which is
by design, I believe.
Yeah, because you
then you're
start believing the propaganda they keep on pumping out.
Exactly. Accept it at face value.
Yeah, and it's getting to the point where, I mean, right now we were talking about the arrest, and we're going back to that. We're doing a callback, but the photos that are on TikTok that came out, they're getting by the time it was only like a couple of hours, but by the time they fully came out, I think about close to about 70 million views of these photos. Or likes or whatever they did to get the analytics. When they were in there, we reported it, and they reported it early in the morning, like 1.7 million. And this is on TikTok, not TikTok, but Twitter. And I look, I glanced at the photos. Not gonna lie, I glanced at the photos. I was like, oh, those are fake.
Yeah.
And this is coming from and mind you, this is coming from a person that took photography, and I can see like the elements of the shadows and everything. And I can pick that up, see if it's fake or not. I was like, no, that's fake. But there's some of them out there that I'm like, you'd have to run through a program.
Right.
Because they're that good. The person takes, I mean, you can do a deep fake within like 5 seconds, a couple of clicks.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do a deep fake and you take about 3 to 4 months, you have to be a person that is an expert on that stuff.
Yep.
So
it's like Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone. They faked all those pictures. Like that's kind of where we're coming to now, where you can't even distinguish until you start breaking down. And now being digital, you can get into the fucking code of the actual image and being able to see what's been manipulated.
Which I'm surprised that we haven't seen anything like that yet. Or no, we haven't found anything like that yet. I mean, there's so many conspiracy people out there that like they get that red string and they just cover the wall and shit. And I'm just surprised nobody's like come up with like, oh, this because they did the black and white one with his wife. What was his wife's name? Miranda. Starts with M. Margot. Anyway. Melina.
Completely. There you go,
Milana. There we go.
It's drawing a blank too.
There's a black and white photo of her like screaming at the cops and everything. Like, oh no. And because it's black and white, it's all you have to do is like work on shading and everything. So it's a little bit easier. So
well, that's the thing is that people will believe it because they want to believe it.
And
that goes both ways.
It's called Wizard's First Rule.
Yeah, it comes down to it's almost information bias, because if it fits within your frame of belief, I guess you could say, then you're much more likely to not question it.
Have you ever read the Sword of Truth series?
No.
Okay. First book in the Sword of Truth series. That's good. It's a good series. Check it out. Really interesting. Sword of Truth series. First one that comes up is the Wizard's First Rule. And I've said this several times. I think that's the reason why you get the initial thing off that. Was the Wizard's First Rule is people believe in a lie if they fear the truth, or believe in a lie and fear it might be true. And it's one of those things like, oh shit, that fucking makes sense. And it happens way too often. Once you start like deep diving in some of these literary works, and the guy's like a blatant liberal when he was alive. He passed like a couple of years ago. That wrote this series. I mean, you could pick up Faith of the Fallen in the series, and it literally dictates the difference between socialism and capitalism. It shows how you get rich from how socialism destroys stuff, and how capitalism can actually which
unless you're going to any college campus, and then they would just scream at you and drown you out and cancel you.
Especially if you go to like, what was the last one? It wasn't
I can pick up campus anymore, dude.
Yeah, but specifically the one Pacific, was it No, it wasn't Stanford. It was one of the ones in California. It wasn't Stanford. Start with the B.
Berkeley.
Berkeley campus.
Oh, it's Berkeley.
Those idiots, like, oh, these words right now are now trigger words. And like, what? And
Yeah.
I looked at some of them and
They're being removed. It wasn't just we're going to put these out. No, this is we're removing these from all curriculum. They're even going in and changing. This is why, I'm starting to drift away from digital books, ebooks, and going to paperbacks again. I'm going back because they're going in now, and this language that's problematic in ebooks, they can go in and change it, and you can even change it on when it's already downloaded on your device. It'll just send it out as an update, and it'll take all these problem words out.
fucking hell, I just got
back now and changing words in books that were written decades ago. And it's like, well, this word is problematic. We can't use that.
because I just got a book from because BC from yesterday. He had a guy on a podcast. The book's called Autobiography of a Recovering Skinhead. And I just downloaded it. And you saying that's kind of fucking now I gotta buy the fucking hard copy.
Keep an eye on it. I guarantee if you go back and read other books, you're starting to see a lot more of those. I've seen articles pop up about that now, where these publishers will get, a list of problem words or problem phrases. Like instead of talking about mothers, you're talking about birthing people. You're talking, it's not breastfeeding, it's chest feeding.
And they don't have to go back and talk to the author or the publishing company.
Publishing company is the one doing it. So they'll send it out as an update over the ebooks, and it changes the words. And then any new printings that come out will have that.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Fucking assholes.
They're going back to books like where the author has already passed.
I wonder if they did that with the Huckleberry Finn.
I would not be surprised if it's already happened.
I
know there's been I've seen a lot of publishers that keep talking about it, about removing problem words and problem that are
you're removing history and
you're already doing that with just censoring.
They always do that.
Allowing the books into the realm of thought in these campuses anyways is already, it's already silencing them.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to
half a step away from book burning at this point.
I was talking to a coworker that just got out of high school, and I was talking to her, and I don't know her father. He works with me too, and we don't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, but we see eye to eye on a lot of stuff type deal. Yeah. He's a little bit, too right wing for me. Mm-hmm. Love the man to death though.
Yeah.
And me and his daughter were talking last time I was on shift, and I was like, yeah, this is happening. This is happening. She's like, well, this is how. I was like, she was like, you would have a conversation with a lot of the people. I was like, are they going to college? And she's like, yeah, well, they're getting indoctrinated. They're joining a cult. And she's like, you're just putting it out there. I was like, yeah, that's how it happens. I've reviewed cults. I've reviewed stuff that what causes cults, how to stop cults, how to when I deep dive on stuff, It's like, how do you stop this? How do
you look at the verbiage that they use, you look at their methods, you look at the way that they operate in these college campuses and the administrators that are there and these other groups that are on the campuses, they are engaging in cult-like behavior.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Everything that I'll even call them victims that are coming out are showing signs of classic brainwashing and programming. They have been programmed. And you hear this from people that have walked away from it. So you get the, the hashtag, what is it, leaving the left or any of those. And you listen to some of the like their waking up moment where they realized exactly what was going. They break their programming. That's even the way that a lot of them put it, is I broke the programming.
And what's really sad, the only way that this stuff is actually going to, well, there's multiple ways that this could be stopped, but the actual thing I'm seeing right now, the only way I could actually see that this actually, stopped dead in its tracks, if it actually, we ended up being in Demolition Man.
Which is where we're going.
Yeah. But what I'm seeing is the only way we can get away from it is actually immigrants.
Yeah,
People that have actually lived in these harsh countries are the most vocal of going, what are you fucking doing?
Exactly. And a lot of them,
I just got away from Cuba and you're wanting to put the same bullshit here. Fuck you. We're taking you down.
exactly. A lot of them come across as more conservative than even we are, because they've actually lived in this. And they're like, you
fought to get out of this kind
idiots.
of, they're not going back.
Right. They're like, we left where we were, and be it, the former Soviet Union, Russia, any of these, like, they tell you all the time, I see it going this way because this is where I grew up in. There was a guy I used to talk to that was he moved here from the former Soviet Union, and he's an older guy, and he tells all the time, there are all these stories that he would tell about the things of the system that he lived under there, and then coming over here and listening to our politicians and being like, I've heard that before. I've heard that before. This guy would talk like this. This party apparatchik would talk like this.
Yeah.
And he's like, I see it. This is where you are going if you don't change your ways. And I've heard people just shout him down and just, whatever, man, you don't know what you're talking about. Like,
I was talking to this Russian chick that was doing the same thing. She's like,
yeah.
I don't, because we had a good conversation. She was actually with somebody, wasn't talking to her to pick her up or anything like that. But I was having a good conversation with her, and the conversation ended up like this: it's like, how is it that you other states and everything? She's like, I've been in Texas is totally different. You trust way too easily. It's like, what are you talking about? In Russia, we hate we don't trust you. It's a process for us to trust you. Texas, you trust automatically. I was like, well, I hate to tell you this right now. We trust, but once we lose that trust, you lose us.
Yeah. We're fairly easy going, but it's I'll be honest right here too. Crenshaw's heading that way.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because I caught his little segment on the TikTok hearing yesterday. He sounded like a lunatic.
Yeah.
I was extremely disappointed because I had hopes for him. I really had hopes for him.
There was a lot of people that had hopes for him. I had hopes for him too. I was with you on that. I think that bomb rang a little bit too much in his head. I think it's starting to show.
Yeah. No, he's definitely gone as far as he's going to go with that.
Yeah. Which it's one of those things is you actually need to talk to the person to understand a little bit easier, but
yeah,
it's still one of those things that, I mean, he's on the fence with everybody else that's using Congress as a cheat sheet for stocks. So which I need to start looking at that website that I keep on seeing pop up to start buying stocks of the ones that Congress is having pushed through. I mean,
dude, there's a bunch of them that will actually track what the Congress people are buying and selling And they're like, if you know, this is because it's all the public information. So they'll find those ones where they're hitting them real big. And then they'll say this is tied in, and look, this legislation is coming up here, or this contract is coming due, and they're buying in on it. And you'll see every single time they're winning every single time. So you can't tell me they're not using insider information.
If anything, we'll go over it and then we'll get her pick on it because it's coming up to almost 7 o'clock.
Yeah. She is on the way, by the way.
Yeah.
Drop the kid. So
yeah, we'll just go over.
I think
We'll go to the last segment because we're running out of time.
Right up 7 o'clock. I'm gonna have to jump ship.
Yeah, if anything, I'll put her on after you leave or something like that. Anyways, another thing is banking. We're heading about, and a lot of people are saying it's like, oh, this is another Great Depression. Another people are saying that this is another 2008. The circumstances of what happened in 2008 is this is actually kind of the same thing, but what it actually is the fact of it's most of the except for was it Central Swiss, the one in Europe?
Yeah.
Uh
Most of these have been tied in some form or other to crypto.
Yeah, because
it's the fallen cryptocurrency is what screwed it, especially SVP, which started this whole domino thing.
Yeah,
SVP failed because it relied so heavily on crypto. And you say it was the tech. It was the tech, but those tech companies were also very heavily depending on the crypto. And when the crypto started failing, it dominoed from there.
Yeah, and the things that what happened with the crypto, and it's not just FTX. FTX was one.
No. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not saying it was Bitcoin or FTX or any of these. No, it was crypto in general.
Yeah, because a lot of those cryptos, what I've been finding out when I was doing the research, is they're pyramid schemes, but they're digital pyramids.
100%. And that was the thing is what happened in 2008. The banks started failing because of the housing bubble. This is the crypto bubble. This is the catalyst of it. Like then it was the real estate. This was the crypto.
Yeah, which
they're policies that are failing. It's not the bank itself. It's the policies that they keep enacting. And then they do it because they know their little Congress critter that they keep lobbying and sending money to is going to come bail them out. And you're already starting to see it.
Yeah. And it's not just a lot of people are only saying it's like 3 banks. No, it's like 30.
Oh, yeah. It's been a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot of
smaller banks that you don't hear about. They smaller as in size and influence in, you know, they're not mainstream banks. So you're not talking about your Chase or USA or any of those. Like, even though Wells Fargo is getting caught up in this, and they're a pretty large bank, which is what's scaring a lot of people when they start talking about Wells Fargo. But Wells Fargo was also front and center in that freaking housing bubble that burst in 2008 too, and they got bailed out, and everybody was like, well, they learned their lesson. Oh, fuck, they didn't, because they're right back into it.
Yeah, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna have her come on and give us a little bit more deep dive on this and see if her stuff correlates with our stuff, and I'll just figure out how to add it in. I'll just edit it. But no, and a couple of yeah. I have to do a little bit of extra work. But another stuff that I found out that I was doing, I was looking at there we go. I was looking at a little bit of deep dive on it, and this is coming back from me from like the whole pandemic crisis 2020. I already knew that something like this was going to happen.
Right.
But
always do. These things go in cycles.
Well, one, it goes in cycles, but you could see the writing on the wall once everything was. I mean, giving out free money and where's this money coming from?
Exactly. Unbacked currency is not stable. What? It's crazy talk.
Yeah. I knew this. I mean, if you look way everything's been going for this last year, 2023, a little bit in 2022. Well, no, as soon as he got in a fucking office, everything went to shit.
Say.
So 2020, once Biden got into office, and I'll call him out. I'll call out his administration only because if you look at the starting of the race, and we're not done with the race yet. Once Biden got into office, he enacted a lot of stuff that he's actually going back on. Like we didn't have
Peeled a lot of shit from Trump too that was holding a lot of this at bay.
Yeah, because they wanted political currency.
Yes.
Like, hey guys, this is what we're doing. Hey guys, we fucked up.
Yeah.
Y'all are wrong.
Immediately
I don't know why we listened to you.
He immediately squandered all the political capital they gained by it.
Yeah.
These people, this guy's supposed to have been in politics for his entire freaking life, and he has no political knowledge at all. He doesn't know how to do anything. It's just tragic.
We found that out. But all this escalated, and then escalated and escalated, and a lot of stuff added to. I mean, we're going off of food shortages, and as soon as I saw the food shortages, I was like, "Oh, we're fucked."
Yep.
That's still okay. We've talked. I think we actually talked about it this week about Russia coming over here, and that's what stopped them. The whole Russia was actually stopped by grocery stores because they went into the grocery stores. Like, yeah, you're just
yeah. We're talking about defectors and stuff coming over, and yeah.
And
Russia and North Korea and all that. Yeah.
Once you deplete items from stores, now small villages, I'll call them villages or towns, or ones that you just blink and they're gone when you drive past them. Here in Texas, that happens a lot. Once those started depleting, because they don't really have that many customers, and most of them have their own cattle anyway, so they just take from the cattle or the stock. They're the preppers of preppers because they have no reason why they have to go into town because they make their own shit. Once they start depleting and they're having problems, and they didn't have that much problems. I had a guy who's like, "Oh man, I couldn't go to the store and get pork chops." Oh, I got pork chops. How much you willing to pay for it? I was like, I don't know. How much you willing to sell for it? That's how you bargain here in Texas.
Exactly.
He's like, "Well, I had good guy cutting." I was like, "You're a good guy. You don't cause that much trouble, so I'll go ahead and give him $5 chop." And I was like, "Okay, this sounds decent enough." I was getting scammed, but it was, and I'm not. I thought I was getting scammed. Fucking chops are about that goddamn fucking big.
Oh hell yeah,
dude!
What
he does, he gave me like belly of a pig too for like $15. It was
a whole pork belly for $15.
Yeah, he slaughters his own pigs.
You thought you were getting scammed.
I thought I was getting scammed.
You are an idiot.
As soon as he gave me the stuff, and I told my brother-in-law, I was like, "Man, I'm getting this stuff for like, I paid like $40 for all this stuff," and he's like, "Yeah, it sounds like it." I mean, he goes to the butchers.
Yeah.
And I go to the butchers. That's where I get my meat. I get my meat. I don't go to the grocery store. I go to the butcher.
Yeah.
And I go over there, and he was like, "All right, here's your stuff. You might want to put it in a cooler." I'm like, I'm taking this to the house, and I took pictures and then showed it to my brother-in-law. He's like, "How much you pay for this shit?"
Exactly.
I was
'Cause
like,
when I first
"$40."
saw it, when you said you're like $5 a chop, and I was like,
Yeah, I did the same thing. I was like, you know what?
HEB, a hell of a lot. But yeah, when you're talking a loin instead of it's not just a chop, you're getting a freaking loin
Yeah, yeah.
and a whole pork belly. Man, that thing that pork belly alone is going to be almost $40 at any grocery store.
So I had bacon for a long time. That's what he does. He slaughters like 4 pigs for a year.
Oh, that's
That's all he stopped eating like beef. But yeah, once you stop like once you start seeing all these patterns that are going on, you're like, oh, this is, I mean, we had a beef crisis, we have chicken crisis right now, we have an egg crisis. I mean, Easter's coming up, and I'm looking at the prices on them. They've actually gone down a little bit, but $4 for a 6-pack of eggs or a dozen eggs.
exactly.
I mean, fucking hell. But it's getting to the point to where I think after all this stuff gets settled, maybe next year we might actually go up. But from what the government is saying, they're not getting them. What was kind of interesting is they have a relief now for banks, so it's not coming from the tax dollars. So these banks are getting governmented bought, and people were getting their money. The thing about it is I've actually, and the process is actually interesting. The someone from the government or FCC goes to the bank, telling us like, "Hey, y'all are fired, but we still need y'all to work for a couple of weeks so we can get everybody their money back." And that's the process. It's like, y'all fucked up. We're taking over.
Exactly.
That was hilarious.
It's hilariously funny though that it's like, oh, you screwed up, so the government's going to come in and take over because you guys couldn't do it right. It's like, you guys think you're going to do any better,
Dude? I know what the price is of. I know how many Cinnabons you get for $10,000. I'm
right.
poor. I've always been poor. I'm high poor now.
Yeah.
But
like
that knowledge I shouldn't know, and that the only reason why is because I worked for the government.
I'm upper poor class.
Yeah, I'm upper poor class.
I'm not quite to middle class. I'm upper poor.
I can buy a PS5 with no worries.
Motherfucker.
I can go to San Antonio.
You missed the Diablo beta. So happy. That made me so happy when you said that. It's a certain.
What's sad is I almost bought the $100 one just so I could play it. Because if you buy the $100 one, you can play it still.
I bet you did.
it came across. I looked at my account. I was like, I could totally do that. I got stuff to do. And you shouldn't be saying shit. I'm gonna come down there and help you move.
I know.
Because we're in like that.
But I'm still gonna say it.
Yeah. It's like, you're a motherfucker. Could you move that over there?
I will say the shit while you have my stuff in your hands, carrying it out to the truck, and I will still be saying hateful things to you with all the love in my heart.
I wouldn't expect
not a lot. There's not a lot there, but there's just a little bit left.
I would not expect less.
Yeah,
I would.
That's how you know I like you.
If I'm at the stage. I'm at the stage right now, and I've said this before. I'm at the stage right now. Compliments scare me.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. If I'm actually like nice to you, like literally nice, oh yeah, I can't stand you.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with you. If I'm like making you question your sanity and I openly question your parentage and
love.
Yeah. Your entire genetic code and structure and
God damn, why didn't your father just,
whether or not your ancestors were related or not, like, yeah, then then yeah, I like you.
But this is, I mean, it's we're gonna.
I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I haven't figured out human
It-
interaction at all. I'm almost 44 years old. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
Shit, I passed
It's
you.
amazing that they actually let me vote and drive a car and spend my own money. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
but
should-
you had the common sense to where
do I though? Do I?
you're.
I mean, I'm aware of it, so I guess
Every once in a while, I got to carry you by the hand. Go, no, you don't go that way.
slap a little bit.
Every once in a while, I have to do that. Every once in a while, you going after the whole egg crisis thing, and I was like, oh Jesus fucking Christ, no, not you.
Listen,
Every once in a while, you have like things I have to go. All right, this is how the adults know things.
you say that. I'm telling you. I'm saying I recognize patterns. It's pattern recognition.
I see the patterns too, and we're in a big. I mean, I got $100 in a certain company right now. I'm just saying, and the only
Listen.
reason why I have that right now is because I put into it recently because it got really low this week, like $4 a share.
Yeah. Listen, if
Oh yeah, that's another thing that
if they hadn't had this hearing to get rid of TikTok this past week, I would be more willing to look over all the other patterns and everything that I've had.
yeah.
Like, realize that where everybody is talking about all this,
And what's really
what
sad
platform
is
is to talk about it? They're
yeah.
using TikTok, and now all of a sudden they want to get rid of TikTok. That's not raising any red flags. Come on.
Yeah. Another red flags is the way, I mean, Facebook, you can get you can do Twitter. They're gonna do what Twitter did is authenticate. You can get your blue check mark now, everybody, just like on Twitter.
Exactly. So what was hilarious to me, and I laughed for a good 5 minutes, was this one idiot that was on there that was asking about whether or not TikTok stores GPS data.
Well, I think all social media companies do that.
Yeah, exactly. But we're worried about if TikTok does it. Are
Yeah.
you?
We
You're telling me Google doesn't store and sell our GPS information? They've literally been caught doing it.
Yeah. I mean, all the stuff that
Google in there and the CEO of Google over there answering these questions. Why are they not talking about banning them when they've literally done what you're worried TikTok might do?
it's not like we have a company that existed that conked out like MySpace that's been doing all this and getting caught several times.
Yes.
They all fucking do it, but they just like they should have had these regulations in place once they caught Facebook doing it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've always
they had Facebook, but even the entire time that they had Zuckerberg in front of Congress, at no point was anybody talking about banning Facebook.
No, they weren't, because
even though he was admitting under oath that he was selling information to fucking Russia.
It's
okay.
It's kind of like they had like a person or a letter group backing them. Not sure what those letters are. I mean,
I think it's 3 letters, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was like a 3-letter word type deal, like female body inspector.
No, I don't think it was that one.
No.
No.
I mean, it's not like all of them have been like sucking that cock off the FBI. Government cock must taste like great A shit. Great. I mean, it must be like taking in from the nectar of the gods.
must, because there's
Or
so many.
or it's my whole you're so rich that you go back to like shitty stuff to where it tastes so horrible.
Calling it retro.
Yeah. It tastes so horrible, but you're so rich and you're so surprised you're still getting that cock.
Mhm.
It could be like this ugly person, this ugly man. It could be
So then it's the pretentious, oh, I'm getting cock because you can't afford it.
yeah.
So nobody wants it. Yeah,
It's
but
like
you
that.
couldn't get it if you wanted it.
It's like that what was it? That $300 coffee bag that
Catch
comes
it.
from like
I've actually tried it.
huh?
There was a guy at work that actually bought enough to make a
Rose.
no, he did a pour over. So he made enough to do like I think it came out to like 2 cups coffee. And
Okay.
just that cost him $70. And it was like 50 grams. And it cost him like $70. Because he's like, I want to try it. And I happen to be in the
sample
office.
pack.
Yeah, I happened to be in the office that day, and it came out. Like I said, it was a full cup and a little bit extra, and he was giving out little small samples to people that were walking by. I mean, it was coffee. It wasn't like they keep saying it was all the be all end all. And this wasn't a guy like we didn't run it through a Keurig or anything. Like this is the guy that's in charge of all of the retail product development. So he is certified. He's like one of 200 people in the world that hold a certain coffee certification. Like this man knows coffee, and so when he makes coffee, I don't question anything about it. So he gave it to me, and I was just like, it's kind of bitter. He's like, yeah, it's real. What's the word I'm looking for? Earthy.
Yeah.
It damn sure ain't worth $70 fucking dollars or $30 a cup or whatever the hell it actually retails for. It's not worth it.
But he's probably saying
that is just the pretentious wow factor of coffee you didn't.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's coming from. Honestly,
my Black Rifle coffee. Thank you very much.
Yeah, support the fun. They need help.
I'll need help.
Yeah. But no, it's. Are they there? We'll go ahead.
Yeah, she's supposed to text me when she gets.
We're gonna go ahead and end this now.
Yeah, we can probably jump on.
But anyways, everybody, thank you for listening to all this shit show. We'll come in tomorrow, and I'll probably end up having to edit this out. I'm just saying bye to Chris at this moment, and we'll get in with Mandy on the rest of the banking stuff. And we're just adding in our opinion because Chris is not going to be able to be available tomorrow because he's dealing with his kids, dealing with it, saying it's a bad thing. You're having your kids visiting,
enjoying the time with my children, the spawn of my loins.
Yes. But anyways, love you, Chris. Talk to you later, man. All right. Right now we just got Mindy and Johnny for the butt end of this. We talked about this for the first hour or so. They had to do extra stuff, but Mindy got a little bit more information about what's going on with the banking stuff. Now, what we actually did discuss probably about 5 seconds ago was the fact that there's a lot of crypto companies that actually fell. 2 of them were scams. And there are 2 arrests for those scams, and it ranged into like the billions and billions of dollars. And a lot of the bankings, especially the Silicon Valley Bank, deep dive heavily into a lot of the crypto, and a couple of other banks did too. But that was the whole reason why we were thinking it's like that's the falter, and it's all digital. What was your take on it, Mindy?
Honestly, it's a huge mess right now, like a huge mess. With them coming down, one of the biggest banks, then you've got Signature Bank in New York. Then a third, which I cannot remember the name. I know the Swiss.
It's the Swiss. God, man, hold on. You go ahead and I know what that. I've been hearing that Swiss bank's name. It's like
They-
The Swiss Bank and then the Swiss National Bank.
yeah, they crumbled. There's a third one in the United States that faulted. As far as we bank with Wells Fargo, they're a big bank, like JP Morgan Chase. We will soon probably be changing banks because they're sneaking in all these things into their addendum.
yeah,
And-
that's the reason why I started doing credit unions.
Yeah, TD Bank just announced, I guess it was a couple days ago, customers started getting notifications, emails that the TD Bank reserves the right to change how they use their debit card, or change how they can turn off they can close their bank accounts. They can stop debit card purchases for anything they want to, and they don't have to contact the customer. They don't have to and they put it in writing. They don't have to contact the customer by phone, email, or text message, or through the mobile app. They don't have to contact the customer at all if they decide to close their account or to say to knock down their spending limits on their debit cards or credit cards, and which I think is crap. And I'm just waiting for Wells Fargo to do the same kind of thing. I got a notice last week through the mobile app saying that they changed their addendum, that and at the bottom it says that the investments and insurance are not FDIC covered any longer, even though on the bank, like I just went into the bank yesterday, on the window it still has the FDIC sticker on there. So they're no longer covered by the FDIC. I'm sure JP Morgan Chase is going to follow suit. Some of the other big banks, and
Lehman Brothers
yeah.
is still a thing.
So we are looking to possibly go to a credit union, but then I heard that, I mean, that's probably what we'll do, but credit unions are not out of reach for this crash either.
No, they're not. But it's like Texoma Credit Union here in Wichita Falls. They're not their main contributor is actually my company that I work for, Howmet. So it's me working for the company that helps out the credit union. So if I don't get paid, the bank automatically gets the money and whatnot.
Yeah.
From
And then I just heard that as of yesterday, Nancy Pelosi, she blew the 2-minute whistle. She sold a whole bunch of her stock for a huge loss. And her husband is notorious for predicting what's going to happen with the stock market.
He's like some kind of psychic.
Yeah. And so she sold a whole bunch of stock. So as of this moment, apparently our US dollar, for every dollar, it only is worth 80 cents at the moment.
At the moment, yes, that's actually true.
So
it went from when this actually started, it was like 90 cents. I just started watching it drop. I get bored, so I start looking at weird stuff. Well, not really weird stuff. I look at like business stuff. I think it's last I checked, it was like 88 cents on the dollar.
Yep. But yeah, it's just a mess. And this whole going to CBDC, one of the things we learned about is your mortgage, like our mortgage, it's written in US currency. And if the bank that our mortgage is through changes to digital currency, that voids the contract. It what's the other word I'm thinking of?
Defaults.
Yeah. Breaches the contract. So that is a hurdle we'll go over if that if everything happens. But as far as the CBDC, I don't like it. Everybody, I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh, it's cool, it'll all be one currency, but that gives the government control over what we can spend, where we can spend it, and how much we can spend.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. And, you know, there's another theory floating around called QFS. Have you heard the quantum financial system?
Not entirely. I heard the word. I've never heard that. I never
Okay.
looked into it.
So the quantum financial system goes, the theory behind it is when each one of us is born, we're issued a birth certificate and a social security number.
Yes.
And on the back of the social security card, there are red numbers. And at the bottom of the birth certificate, there are corresponding numbers to your social security card. Those supposedly are linked to a $1 million bond that is also $1 million insured. So each one of us from the day we're born supposedly are worth $2 million each. And every year as we're growing up, those bonds grow, and every job that we work, the taxes they take out goes towards that. So in essence, in the theory of quantum financial system, every single one of us are like billionaires. And so the theory is that it's either going to play out with the CBDC or the quantum financial system. If the quantum financial system takes effect, then every adult is entitled to a $10,000 monthly income each.
That's a little bit.
I know it's out there. I'm just telling you what I've heard, what I've read. And the way that you access these funds is very important. Once it takes over, you'll go to, if you have currency from other like foreign countries, different currency, you can go to these I forget what the word they use for them, basically like a center where they will exchange the currency into the quantum financial system. And when you go, you'll be notified supposedly what time you're supposed to go, where you're supposed to go to gain access to your funds in the quantum financial system. And you go through, you give them your information, they give you your account information. And what I've heard is that you're supposed to have some sort of humanitarian project in mind. And it's very important to have that in mind when it's your turn to go get access to your funds. And
yeah, that doesn't seem all too.
it's really far out there, but there are so many people.
I gotta grab my little hat here. Hold on.
Your tinfoil hat.
Yeah, where? Hold on, I got this.
Yeah.
It's really wild. The CBDC, I can believe more because we're actually seeing things change over to, one world currency.
They've been okay. The one world currency, and I've been deep diving on that for a while. They've been trying to do the one world currency back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Now saying that, they did do, European has done the euro. God, I knew it was something simple. I just couldn't figure it out. They have done the euro. At one point in time, Britain was going to go the euro. They did it for a little bit, and then they just figured out that the euro wasn't all that was up to be, and they cut it off. We are not going to go into a big world currency, only because it's not financial plausible, because of the fact of your $1 we'll just go with the $1 could be good in Greece. Actually, that's a bad, it could be $1 in Greece, but when you go into a wealthier country, France is a little bit wealthier ish, it's only worth like 10 cents for $1.
Mm-hmm.
Type deal. Given in that. And that's the big problem they're having with the euro. And that's what you're always going to have a problem. It's like having a world amount of money, and you go down to,
They've got a standard currency, it sounds like, but as far as conversion rates are concerned, it's all about that particular nation's economy.
yeah, exactly.
So and that's where everything gets lost in the translation and it turns into a lot of soup.
It's like a Euro trip when they went to that one country, they only had like 95 cents, and they gave a nickel to one of the guys as a tip. And he's like, "You see this? I'd get my own hotel," and smacks the hotel manager in the face.
Yeah, it's really out there, but I like hearing theories from both sides. I am
I
a
seriously hope
conspiracy
that we
theorist,
both.
I guess, to some point.
Yeah, she has spelunked into that. That's our $35 an hour word right there. She has spelunked into that rabbit hole on TikTok.
Yeah, you should not do that. I mean, I already have problems with Chris doing that. I don't need another person in my life doing that too.
Well, but I mean, digital currency, that was a conspiracy theorist a couple years ago. More than that, and look what's happening now.
Well, to be fair, she has gotten me to the point now where I'm like, I have a I don't know, kind of a roadmap of sorts to within the next year to buy an additional 5 guns. So, and yeah, I am going to be completing out or filling out the rest of my kit as far as like bug out bag, assault pack, things like that. Because, dude, to me, the way I'm looking at it, and this just may be because I'm a Neanderthal, but it's when everything goes to shit, dude, it's going to be one of those situations where it's going to turn into survival of the fittest. And it's like with the whole Texas secession bill that's
Yeah, Chris keeps on
making its way
pumping
through
it
the
out.
legislature right now. Personally, I think it's a bad idea. One, because what are we going to use as our standard currency? And, how is that going to hold up with, versus the rest of the country? And, as soon as that happens, that Fort Hood and Fort Bliss and even Fort Sill to an extent, and Fort Sam Houston and San Antonio, they're going to get activated and they're going to be told, hey, you guys are now in full combat status, kind of a thing. And it's going to turn into a big shooting match, and it's not going to end well for anybody.
How
But
does
that's the
everybody?
thing that people have talked about for years, and now it's been in the House, it's passed, and it's going to be voted on in November.
Yeah,
So,
it's been going on since they enacted us to go into be part of the United States.
I look at it as just
soon as they
trying to be prepared for any outcome.
Well, to be fair, historically speaking, Texas was never ratified as a state. They were annexed by the United States government.
Yes, you're right, but it still doesn't mean we're not part of it.
Well, I didn't say that we weren't part of it.
You mean the United States corporation?
Please share with the rest of the class.
You need to like get out of the cult status, because that's
I
what
just
I'm
learned
hearing.
a bunch of stuff.
I learned a bunch of stuff too.
But like I said, with the QFS, I don't believe it necessarily, but I'm not throwing it to the side. I mean, who wouldn't want 10 grand each
It
for the rest of your life?
on stuff like that, it's always the oh, they have this and they're holding it against us. As soon as you said that, my mind just went, you know what? I could fuck with somebody really hardcore with that shit, and it'd be fucking hilarious. Just call somebody up. It's like, you got this. All you have to do is just go to this location and you can have $10,000. It's like, this isn't real. No, sure. Sir, I totally understand that you wouldn't believe this, but here's your document numbers and everything like that. Go to this location. And it's like in a center of a freaking field.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing. All joking aside, as far as like the conspiracy theories go,
I don't really, it's not that I don't prescribe to these things, but I mean, more for anything else, it's, dude, it's stressful, man, because I mean, you look at, and our situation is not unlike thousands of other Americans. I mean, we just bought a house, and
Yeah.
when we're talking about banking systems collapsing, and it's like, okay, how are we going to pay for this place now? Is it going to be a situation where they're going to devalue the property? Are they going to assume ownership of the property where they just kind of negate the concept of personal private property in our country? I mean, how far left are we going to take it? And where is that line in the sand that's gonna, when it gets crossed, that, you get a bunch of pissed off veterans, combat veterans, and patriots that are just going to say enough is enough. Somebody's going to pick up a rifle, somebody's going to pick up a weapon, and start a shooting war. When is the second American Civil War going to kick off? And are we witnessing the early Braxton Hicks contractions of the death of our republic?
Yeah. A lot of that's another thing a lot of people keep on saying is like, oh, we're at our fringe point where the country is gonna falter and go down. I'm like, dude, we have so
Well,
many
they
failures.
say that anytime you set up a democracy or a republic or any kind of empire, we'll just say like the British Empire or the Roman Empire, they had a very finite lifespan. And if you look historically throughout their lifespans, the reason why they failed was because they started fighting from within.
Yeah.
And
And
I mean, and it's just like, that old adage, united we stand, divided we fall. And I think ultimately at the end of the day, that's going to be what kills the United States.
well, we
It-
always have infield fighting. I mean, look
yeah,
at
infighting's always been a thing. And, we would, if it wasn't for the skillful leadership of the first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, guiding the country through that time, we wouldn't have lasted 100 years.
yeah.
And it's always kind of been like something to hang your hat on, some kind of a bragging right as an American, that throughout the course of human history, anytime anybody has set up something like like we have, which is the constitutional republic, it's not a democracy, it's a constitutional republic, but they've never worked, and we've been that one singular exception to the rule. And I think a lot of it is because of the checks and balances and the firewalls that were written into the Constitution when it was originally framed.
Yeah.
And our founding fathers, as flawed as they may have been, were centuries ahead of the general frame of mind at the time when they framed the Constitution. They worded it in such a way to where it's not a living, breathing, organic document. I mean, it's just that's a bunch of crap. I mean, it's a framework that's very rigid, but it made allowances for it to be expanded or improved, and not expanded in the way that you would think, like big government coming in. And I've brought it up a few times whenever we have discussions about stuff like this, where it's and I could be wrong here. I should probably do my homework before I open my mouth, but here we go. Thomas Paine wrote, there was, at the time that they were debating what's going to be in the Constitution and how it's going to be worded, you had common sense, and then I forget what the other one was called. Thomas Jefferson wrote the other one, but Thomas Paine, he said that if men were of angels, then there would be no need for government, or a rule of law. But because men are not of angels and are inherently flawed, we have the need for government and the rule of law, albeit it needs to be a small but limited government. And that was one of the biggest talking points that Reagan conveyed during his farewell speech from the Oval Office in 86, or not in 86, but in was 89, when he left the White House after his second term. He said that, you know, America was founded on certain principles, and that America should be a shining hill, you know, on the sea, that we should trust but verify. We need to have peace through strength, and we need to have a small but limited government. And, you know, every single one of those points that he hit on, they ring truer, you know, no more truer today than they were when he said them. And I think that a lot of the career politicians on both sides of the aisle that have gone to Washington and set up shop for, you know, for perpetuity have forgotten that. You know, they've lost their way, you know, and a lot of it goes to, you know, I mean, we could trace it back, and it's almost like trying to do a forensic investigation on the anatomy of an explosion. Or, you know, you get like one of those blood splatter pathologists, you know, that work in the forensic labs for police departments. It all goes back to a singular point, but every one of the branches that stemmed off of that main, you know, that main cause contributed to where we're at now, you know, where we got away from allowing the state legislatures to appoint representatives to go to Washington, and they had a term limit of 2 terms. You serve your state, you serve your constituency, and then you come back home and retire to public life. They didn't have these infinite paychecks being issued out to them. We didn't know so much worry about foreign aid. You know, we weren't shelling out billions of dollars to places like Ukraine. And then all of a sudden now we can't afford to pay our own bills, and the banking institutions, you know, all being tied in with the central bank. That whole thing has been a bad idea from the beginning. You know, and then the fact that income taxes were, you know, for all intents and purposes, illegal and unconstitutional. The income taxes actually became more or less permanent during after World War I, because they instituted an income tax to help pay for that, and they did the same thing during World War II.
Yeah.
But you know, because one of the reasons why we rebelled against the British Empire and we formed our own country was against things like taxation without proper representation. And it just kind of seems like, you know, now not only does the federal government want their cut, but the states, there's counties, and even some local municipalities like Los Angeles, they've got an income tax. You know, we can get into things like, well, how do we fund the government without taxes? Well, we're probably never going to get away from it at this point because it's been institutionalized. But instead of having a graduated tax bracket where, you know, you pay more the more you make, everybody pays 17%. Just go to a flat tax. Everybody pays 17%. And then as soon as that gets enacted and becomes signed into law, you can actually eliminate 2/3 of the IRS.
Yeah.
You really could. And I think a lot of it's going to be a long, painful process. I think that the banking collapse can be recoverable, but it's going to be a long, painful process. And we need to really start looking towards what we have to do to reconstruct our country to make it stronger. And I'm not talking about just militarily. You know, I mean, yes, we've got a gun behind every blade of grass. I mean, which is why we've never really truly been invaded by a proper army on the mainland. But, you know, I'm minimizing the size of the government and establishing definitive borders between states' rights and federal, and the states need to filter their stuff down. Like here in Texas, the counties, they can basically, they're allowed to increase your property taxes without any probable cause, I think up to like 10.5% every year if they wanted to. We've got something that's going through the state legislature now, where if it gets passed and voted on and everything like that, that they're going to reduce property tax rates across the state, which would save, I don't know, a couple of $1 billion.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, Texas alone as a state, it's the 4th largest economy on the planet. And while we can hang our hat on that and say, you know, Texans love Texans like most Americans should love America, it's how much of that is because of the federal dollars coming in, you know, from different programs or whatever. I think that the politics and politicians have really gotten in the way of not necessarily expanding our borders or making the country bigger. I just think that they've gotten in the way of keeping the country from maintaining a degree of health. And once we figure out a way to more or less handcuff what the politicians are able to do to us without any kind of repercussions on their end, it's going to be an uphill battle. And I mean, once we hamstring, and by hamstring, I'm not talking physically, I'm talking more or less like legislatively, you know, what can they do? What can they not do? It's gonna be an uphill battle. And I think it's going to take at least a generation. Yeah, we're going to land this plane. It's going to take at least a generation or two before the country can get back to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, we got a lot of work, especially for the banking stuff. And we honestly, and I'm one of those people that says that we don't need a lot of restrictions except for like stuff that's causing us problems, especially like banking right now. I mean, we hit it over 2008 and we're hitting it now, but we need to regulate the banks because they're just putting too many people that don't know what the fuck they're doing. So
yeah. And it's sad that they're not asking the experts, i.e. us.
Oh, they're asking. They're just not paying attention.
Well, it's not that they're asking. They're not asking at all. I mean, they're asking, but it's more of like I'm going to humor you by asking this question, but they're stating it in more of a rhetorical form.
Yeah.
You know, and that goes back to politicians not being held accountable for.
I miss the
actions.
days when one politician would beat the fuck out of the other politician.
Well, you know, back after the Civil War, you know, it wasn't uncommon to see senators beating each other with canes on the Senate floor.
Oh, Andrew Jackson did it all the fucking time.
Oh yeah, so
he made it president. But
yeah,
anyways,
so
let's
go ahead and land this plane.
Yeah. I'm David Dickerman, and
I'm Johnny Skelton.
That's Mindy. And thank you for all for watching.
And I'm Mindy Skelton.
And Chris Jacka was here on the first half. Don't forget our lovable scamp.
Our lovable what show? He's our lovable Paddington Bear.
I like scamp better, but okay, we'll go with
Scamp.
Yeah, lovable scamp. You never heard of lovable scamp?
80?
Yes, fucking 80. Lovable scamp. I love the
You
fucking
little scamp.
word. I love the fucking word.
Get out of here, scamp. You little scamp, you.
I love the fucking word. Just shut the fuck up. All right, guys. Love you guys. Talk to y'all later.